Welcome to the Filmfest studio. My name is Ilona. I'm the artistic director of Filmfest Bremen, and I have a guest with me today in the studio from the short film Leave to Remain, which features in the comedy and satire competition this year at Filmfest Bremen. And with me is the director and writer of the film, Remy Bazerk. And hello, Remy.
Hello, hello. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
From where are you joining us today?
I'm currently sitting in beautiful Cyprus.
Oh, wow. Now I'm really jealous. Are you on holiday or are you staying for longer?
Yeah, I'm just taking a break. I just had a small daughter, so we've decided to take a little break from all the madness currently, and put ourselves in a little bit of a love bubble. Let's call it like that.
Congratulations. That sounds like heaven, to be honest, right now.
Thank you.
So about your film, this is a little bit the opposite of heaven, what we experience. It starts off as a sort of, or it seems like a sort of regular day at the immigration services somewhere in the UK, and it spirals into something very dark, very fast. And if you look at it from the outside, the storyline wouldn't suggest it's necessarily a topic for comedy. But there is a very distinct sense of humor running through the entire film. Maybe you can lead us a little bit through the process of how you decided or why you decided to tell this in the context of a comedy.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like it all stems down from personal anxiety, I suppose. So it's a kind of cathartic process for me. Like the whole thing started shortly after Brexit in the UK, and things were becoming. Of course, now it feels like it's a little bit in the past, but back then it was very real for me and my family and for many people. And it was one of those things. Like, I come from France. I'm a privileged person, obviously, and I never really felt that viscerally about these topics before, and I felt like really guilty about this. I didn't care as much as I did when it started all of a sudden affecting my family, affecting me. And so I started really looking into all those questions, immigration, what is actually going on. And in the UK back then, there were a lot of stories, like the Windrush scandal. I don't know if you're familiar with that, and all kind of stuff. And you had all kind of stories coming out of stuff that happened that were so rage-inducing, that were just like, and you were asking yourself, what if it happened to me? So all of a sudden, I was starting to ask myself that question: what if this would happen to me? You would see stories of people where passports were lost, they would be deported, they would have to redo this, like all kind of crazy stuff that had no and. Of course, vulnerable people couldn't do anything about it. So I just started getting angry, and I needed to turn that into something that sort of works for me, and humor, and that's what I do. I like, for me, it's a way of like laughing about things is a way of making it more human, I suppose. So I wanted to be able to talk to people and tell them, what if this happened to you? How would you react? But without necessarily patronizing them or being like melodramatic about it, so that they can still connect. They don't feel like completely pushed away by the film. So that was basically the intention. Sorry, long answer.
That was exactly what I was after. And also for me as a viewer, it was also this process of like when there's humor involved, you let your guard down a little and you identify more with the characters more willingly, maybe step into their shoes. And then the more emotional scenes, they impact you a lot stronger. For me, it was like it has these absolute like depressing moments and really heartfelt moments in the film. And then there is this absurd comedy also of the bureaucracy, the whole process of that folder just being misplaced and everything that sort of spirals because of it. It's so I was thinking.
So it's great that of course when you're gonna do something like that with a topic like this, it's not gonna be necessarily for everyone. But I'm like you, for me, when there is a bit of humor and it kind of feels like life, because life is never completely one thing or the other. It reaches me more. So of course delighted that it works. It's finding its audience. And you know, when we did the film, we had quite a lot of people in the crew that did it for free or very little money, because we didn't have a big budget. And a lot of the guys like that you see in the crowd, they did it and they came to me and they were like, you know, I had so many issues with the home office myself. And the film spoke to me so much that I really wanted to do it, even if there's, you know, like it was something that you could feel people, that some people really felt strongly about it, even in the team. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
It's like in the final scene, it has this moment of real catharsis, I think. But at the same time, it's like you don't know if it's like a celebration or if it's anger or all mixed into one. But it's very liberating, I think, the final scene of the film. So
Yeah,
was it like as a director, was it scripted exactly this way? Because it feels very spontaneous, like actual, like super emotional when you watch it.
it was an amazing moment, honestly, for me, because literally every single of these guys, we kind of recruited them as extra. You know, I don't really like that word, because all of them, they are like actors, so, but they were extras. So, you know, we didn't have any rehearsal. They didn't have much time with me, so they were just, you know, they turned up on the day, and literally like half an hour before we shot the scene, I rehearsed it with them. And I was just like, let's just block it, you know, don't take off your clothes, like, you know, no one is gonna force you to undress. If you do it, it's great. And then they did this,
It's
like
amazing.
completely on their own. Like they just went so crazy that, and we only did like a couple of takes. And I remember looking at my producer, like we couldn't even stop them. They were kind of completely loose. So no, it was one of those moments, like it could have been so bad. And it was so good. And from, you know, people were just so generous. Yeah, it was really great. And I guess we were just incredibly lucky that this bunch of people just decided to work as a group as well, because it's kind of a listening game. And there's just so many nice moments in that scene for me, that no, it was just one of those things, you know.
And the other thing for me that ties the film together, like the very beginning and the end, is obviously the song that you chose, which also has a meaning within the film, even though it's just featured like it, or like a bit. You hear like just a couple of, I think, chords in the beginning of the film, and then you hear the song in the end credits. But it's called "I Wanna Be Your Dog," right, by the Stooges. So, and the dog theme is something that runs through the film as well. So I was wondering, at what time in the process of creating the film did the song sort of like find the way into the movie, or was it like the starting point maybe to develop this this specific image of also of dehumanizing people in this bureaucratic process, and sort of like the dog analogy that you put in there?
The song wasn't really like I don't think we started with the song, but there was this theme of you know, if you treat people like animals, then they will behave like animals at some point. And I think there's even like I wouldn't be able to quote, but there's even like a concept in sociology or something like that about this. I remember reading about it, and people were saying like, you know, if you treat people long enough in a certain way, they will actually sort of start behaving like this. And I think in the edit we were just looking for something cheap, which is not the case with I Wanna Be Your Dog. Disclaimer, it's not cheap. But and I don't know, I can't remember if it was me or if it was a producer, and we kind of were trying different tracks, and we were just like, oh, I Wanna Be Your Dog, isn't that great? Like, you know, to make a little because when you hear it at first, you don't really question it, and it's only in the end, because there's a repeat, that you're like, oh, okay, you know, like I get it now. It's like a little coda or something. So no, I think it was more just in the edit that we kind of like tried it and thought, That's great. Oh, no, we need to talk to them and pay some money.
Unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
This is but it pays off, I think, definitely. Also, it sets the mood. For me, it was also almost a bit like foreshadowing, because the first scene seems very normal when the movie starts, but the energy of the song, even just these few seconds you hear before the movie starts, kind of lets you know there is something more to come. So for me, it worked perfect. So I think, unfortunately, I was kind of hoping they had given you the song for free because it fits so perfectly, but that's not how the world works, right?
Well, I think if had it been the artist, maybe that would have been the case. But you know,
I
you
think so.
usually talk to
The label.
some label or to some. So, but yeah, actually, it wasn't really written like that. You're right. We didn't have the song at the beginning or but we realized that precisely because the theme is quite dramatic. If you don't kind of give the authorization early enough to people to understand that, you know, there's a bit of light heart, like if it can become very, especially like, you know, in festivals, sometimes in programs you have all kind of films, you're not necessarily in a comedy program. So it was important to give the authorization of people to think that this is not really well-behaved film, you know, there's a little bit of a how can I put it? Yeah, not really well-behaved, I suppose.
Yeah, so I would, I don't know, maybe you have a different opinion, but I would classify the film probably as a political comedy. And these are very rare, so I'm very happy to have the film in the program this year, and I wish you best of luck for the competition. Hopefully one day we'll be able to meet at Filmfest Bremen in person with your next movie, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that me and the producer, we were really gutted not to be able to come because it looks really great, honestly. From everything that I've seen, it looks awesome. So, you know, it's what it is with COVID and with everything. But I think this festival is really exciting.
Thank you. So there will be another time. I'm pretty sure that we'll meet. And until then, keep making great movies, and I talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
You too. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.